Hi guys, this is Ed, and welcome to the Outer Dark. Well, there's been a number of very strange things happening around Antarctica lately, since a number of very prominent people this year have made trips to Antarctica. But is there something happening in Antarctica that we don't know about? Well, stay tuned as the Outer Dark brings you 5 things we know about the elites and Antarctica. Number 10. First, some context. Antarctica is a barren, vast region, almost twice the size of the United States, and at the southern hemisphere, south of New Zealand. That is, it's massive. It's a massive, huge landmass and covered in ice. There is large scrolling reserves of ice-capped mountains and rocky land. But what is the mystery? Well, number 9. It is the weird sequence of events. Since on the 12th of February, Russian Orthodox Church leader Patriarch Kirill met with Roman Catholic Church leader, that is, the Pope, in a historic meeting between the two leaders, something that had not happened in 1,000 years. Let that sink in a moment. Now, this took place on the 12th of February, which is really strange, since straight after, that is only a few days after, on the 18th of February, the Russian Orthodox Church leader, Patriarch Kirill, then flew straight to Antarctica, as you can see here. That is, literally a few days after he met the Pope. But this old man, who's an elderly old man, and a head of a religious movement, that is Patriarch Kirill from Russia, doesn't even take a week or a few weeks to rest from that tiring trip. No, he flies straight to Antarctica. That is, through a labyrinth of airports and stopovers. Number 8. When the Russian Orthodox Church leader arrived in Antarctica, he started acting very strange. He blessed the land and water that surrounded the area. Then he praised the land as a model of humanity, that is, the ideal location for humanity. Now think about that for a moment. I mean, Antarctica is a barren wasteland full of rocky mountains and ice. Is that really the ideal place for humanity? John Kerry's flight to Antarctica. That is, out of all the days in the year that John Kerry could fly to Antarctica, he flew on November the 8th, that is election day in the United States, as if he knew something or heard something and he had to arrive in Antarctica immediately. That is, he flew out on the day of the United States presidential elections. Let that sink in, not at any other time of the year, but the day of the elections, when the entire establishment that he serves, as a Democrat, was on the line. Buzz Aldrin. After John Kerry's visit to Antarctica, which was highly irregular, next you have an astronaut, literally, and not any other astronaut, but also an astronaut that happens to be a 33-degree Freemason and a military insider. Now ask yourself, with all 3 of these visits combined, does a picture start to emerge that is something major is happening in Antarctica? Because remember, Buzz isn't just an astronaut. Buzz Aldrin, a 33-degree Freemason, represents another group of people, namely the Eye of Providence. That is the Grand Lodge of Freemasonry. So if you needed a report from someone, that is someone that could confirm that something was really happening in Antarctica, like you found something you weren't expecting, then who would you send if you were from the Masonic establishment? You would send none other than Buzz Aldrin. That is someone that has a military background, a background as an astronaut, that is space, and the intelligence sector, as also as someone that is a 33-degree Freemason, that is a lifetime Freemason. Lockheed Martin is now in Antarctica, and they are hiring. And Lockheed Martin doesn't show up to build some pipelines, or to build some beds for some scientists, or maintain runways. They work with SAP programs, that is highly classified departmentalized special access programs for the United States intelligence and military circuit. They are involved in places like Groom Lake, Nevada, and build things like this and this. If they say they're building pipelines, then you know something big is going down. The US spy boss James Clapper has been reported to have made a secret visit to New Zealand, which of course is the gateway to Antarctica. This he did in mid-March, where he met with Prime Minister John Key. So ask yourself, why would the head of the CIA make a visit to the Southern Hemisphere? You don't do this. You do this through diplomats. That is what they're there for. That is trusted people that you can pass intelligence information on. That is, unless you need to see something for yourself with your own eyes. This in itself is a kind of warning sign, at least my opinion. John Podesta. John Podesta received strange photographs to his email as reported to WikiLeaks. That is, mundane, boring photographs of Antarctica. A number of researchers have speculated that John Podesta's photographs aren't really photographs of Antarctica at all, but contain a hidden message that is either encrypted pictures or a meaning in themselves. As the Moscow Times reported today, Vladimir Putin is also on his way to Antarctica very soon. That is, the second most powerful man in the world is headed to Antarctica at a time full of international conflict, when relations between the United States and Russia, at least on the surface, seem to have a major problem. What does this mean? Well, if you're sending the Secretary of State John Kerry, and maybe perhaps Obama's even been there himself, as some researchers have stated, then who's next? Well, it would be the next most powerful person, Vladimir Putin. It is also worth noting that on October the 22nd, that is of 2016, it was finally reported that the Russians actually found an underground Nazi military base in Antarctica. Just a side note regarding Vladimir Putin, because the territory that the underground Nazi military base is found in Antarctica is controlled by the Russian Federation. And this isn't a conspiracy theory, guys. This was reported widely by newspapers like The Independent, as seen here. And the Nazi military base, that is the underground bunker system, was said to contain relics, that is, at least the Nazis themselves were in pursuit of some kind of relics in Antarctica. So if you read between the lines, that is another very interesting note that's come to light just this year, that is in October. Number one, it's hard to say what's really going on in Antarctica. Is there some kind of base there, some kind of super city for the apocalypse, or maybe ancient ruins that are so shocking the political establishment's freaking out? But what is the evidence really that there is something strange there? Do we have any evidence at all? Well, we have one thing, and that's a very strange satellite image, an image taken from Google Earth. The exact location will be placed in the description, of course, so you can confirm it independently by yourselves. Now what is this? Take a look. Well, it can't be natural. No matter how you look at this, it is clearly artificial. There is a set of what seem like massive protrusions around the outside of the object, in symmetrical mathematical rows. That is, artificial again. On the surface, there is no telling what this could be. The cave behind, however, is 30 meters, or about 100 feet, which makes the opening massive. And if you look at the glacial patterning, that is the size of the object and the ice around it, you can imagine that it's been sitting there for a while. That is, at least we can assume that it hasn't been created this year. But what does this mean? I think it could be two things. Either these are ruins from an ancient civilization of some kind, or they're evidence of something being built fairly recently. What I mean by that is at least in the time period when we could have built such, say in the last 80 years or so. Either way, you don't build something like this, which looks like a door to a massive underground structure, for no reason. You build it there as a permanent feature and within a rocky terrain, just as you see here, a kind of bunker or super base. But why is it there? I don't know, guys. I have absolutely no idea. But I do know by this photograph alone that there is something in Antarctica. There is something there, and something has been built. At what time period we can only speculate, and that the elites are going there for a reason. You don't have all these high-profile figures going to Antarctica for no reason, especially from the religious sector, major religious sector, from the heights of power, John Kerry, Vladimir Putin, the director of the CIA, etc., unless there really is something going on in Antarctica. But in the meantime, guys, all I can do is try to dig a little bit deeper. I will, of course, bring you any information I find, and I do hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments section anyway what you think. And if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, guys, this is Ed from the Outer Dark, and I'll see you later.